All right.
Sims, are you
Okay there?
Good morning or evening, friends. My name is Sims95 underscore Umkho, and welcome back to Instigating Prosperity. We're at the VETS School of Governance. We are broadcasting for the Africa Youth International Summit. It's day 2 of the summit. I've been having a good time, but unfortunately, day 2 I didn't get to see much happening, but at least I did get to see Dr. Nkosazana doing the thing downstairs. And here we are joined by Dineo, beautiful lady from Umkho AI. Nothing the criteria for recruitment. I Dineo. Yeah. Oh yeah, beauty and brains. Yeah, 100%. Because even KK is beauty and brains.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, tired,
Yeah.
year-end fatigue.
You're too young to be tired.
Dude, we've been pushing this from 16
Yeah.
in the industry, so you get to this age and you're like,
This age, you're like 18.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not 18.
I'm just
Thank
it's a
you.
compliment, but you got good genes.
Thank you. I'll tell my mom when I get home.
Yeah. How you doing?
No,
Okay,
I'm
you're
good.
tired, but like.
Yeah. No, besides being tired, I think it has been a great year.
Mm-hmm.
For starters. So many L's that taught so many lessons, but I think more than anything, milestones that we've reached. I joined the team, so that's a big win, even for Umkho, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
But it's been a great one.
Which
I'm
team?
grateful.
D team, big Umkho.
D team,
Oh, yeah?
Dream team,
The A team.
Winners own.
Tell me, there at Umkho AI, is it just ladies?
No, of course not. It's not
What's
just
wrong with that? It could be a lady organization.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think if we're going to represent and be the mirroring of our African context, then it is only fair that we showcase everyone. So we've got a few of the guys, amazing guys. We've got some guys in the States. We've got our chief technical officer, he's a male admin. We've got our chief operations officer, that's Jay, he's based in America. We've got our chief science officer, I work very close to him, good friend of mine as well, Oweking.
Right.
And we also just brought in my data analyst, that's Nava from India. And Kahiso just also joined the team, head of engineering department. So we've got a couple of guys. I think they outweigh us.
It's a real well-oiled machine, most what you guys are running at Umkho.
Listen,
Yeah.
dude, we're ready to take over.
I had the privilege, yes, you guys have been ready to take over. Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Time. We'll talk about the time and when you guys are taking over, but I know it's soon. I had the privilege of listening to Spila when he was on the panel earlier when I was looking for Panisa. And they mentioned Umkho AI. And you guys allegedly, you want to clear the rumors, have got an app that's going to be 12 languages, South African official languages, and this is artificial intelligence.
Of course.
And also, allegedly, it sounds South African in terms like the city aspect, like it doesn't have a Western Zulu. So let's clear the rumors.
Where's the camera? All the rumors are true.
Yeah.
No, but I think to put it simply, I think when we set out to design Umkho, when we set out to build Umkho, one of our main priorities was, I'm tired of going to, any other platform. I don't know if I'm allowed to name them. Let's not. But I'm tired of
for the
going
sake of
to
the
another.
summit, but I wouldn't mind, yeah. But for the sake of the summit, let's be peaceful people.
Invite me for an uncensored version.
100%. Say that.
But you go to different other platforms and you try to communicate. First and foremost, this is South Africa. I am going to spit a sentence in 4 to 5 different languages, and we all know that when less than 1% of artificial intelligence in Africa is dedicated for our context, then 1, there's a problem. But 2, that means none of these systems sound like us because none of these systems were designed for us, right? Which is where we then come in, because we then went and a lot of the research we put together was, pulling from pop culture. We pulled from shows, we pulled from shows like Uzalo, movies that are out that are written for the African context or written particularly in the global south and as South Africans so that they can sound like us. Because I'm not going to sit on my phone and try to explain to it, no chat, and chatting some time. But I mean, I'm hungry, right? So for once, we're getting the opportunity to bring something to the table that says, this is for us, this was built by us, and together, this is something we're hoping to implement. So
what inspired that? Because I don't want to add a follow-up question. What inspired that whole various languages, South African languages, that is, what motivated that?
Let's take it back, I think, to contextualize it even for myself and why this was an easy buy-in for myself. You go with your grandmother to the hospital, and as somebody, who is studying in the fields of the health sciences, I know that, thank you. Oh,
Distinctions.
but I know that I can't tell my grandmother in our language that TB or whatever the case is. And so what this has created is these barriers, and barriers in language create bureaucracy, and bureaucracy creates red tape. And when there's red tape, it's very hard for everybody who lives in our context to penetrate and benefit, from everything our country has to offer. So this is why it was important when we were building an offline national government AI, that all of this be implemented, because we want it to be from the school kid all the way to our grandparents back home, and everybody is contextualized to understand. And for once, we can speak one voice, different languages.
Yeah, but one voice. Yeah. Tell me, the development of the app. What challenges have you faced? To me, as you're speaking, it sounds like it's a costly venture. And then I want to ask about the funding aspect of it. How are you guys balancing that?
I'm gonna go gray when we talk about funding, because I think our technical offices and everything we do to run the app is all based in Germany. And this is because our co-founding AI company was able to build one that was made for the German context.
Okay.
And if you can speak Dutch, you can speak Afrikaans. And if you can speak Afrikaans, that means this is a model that would then be equipped to handle all the rest of our languages, right? So that being the case, we then had to, because obviously most of the team, we are from South Africa, because we are building this for the South African context, and this was for the national government and whatever the case is. But when we have, systems running all over the world, that's a cost all by itself. It demands everybody from every part of it. So we are in pre-seed round of funding, which means we are just near about the breakthrough of what would be known in the business world as an MVP. And if we can provide an MVP, we can get signage off from governments. Those are LOIs and whatever the case is, and then we can move on to a seed round, because in the pre-seed, we basically look for funding to build and show the MVP. Once we have the MVP, we'll then need the seed funding to build and show that we have now the prototype to function. So we're hoping with funding, and with everybody coming together, whether that's going to take a crowdfunding, whether that's going to take us bootstrapping and everything, that we can be able to implement within the timeline we set out for ourselves.
Interesting, powerful. Brains all around, well articulated. Tell me, the government, how has our government received Umkho AI?
I think, look, there's no such a time as this, especially in our government, especially as we are in the GNU context, and for any of your international viewers, that would mean the Government of National Unity, which means no one party, or this becomes neutralized as far as the politics are concerned, because, we are building this for legislation, and I think that's something we really had to undo, even behind the scenes, to say, this is a government prototype, this is a national prototype. And I think the one misconception is this is a political tool. It's not that at all. None of the devices or anything like that. So
You're not politically affiliated.
no, of course not. But I think to answer your question, sure, we have been welcomed with warm arms by the Department of Digital Communications and Technologies. We've had a great run as well with the city of Joburg.
Okay.
And so, as far as, of course, right? Because we want it I'm rooting for it in Joburg more than I am. But guys, Cape Town's not bad. But
okay.
it would be lovely to have it for the city of Joburg as well, because we could digitize and we could get rid of so much of the red tape that happens as well. So it's interesting to see how the government, particularly all these departments that we need to work closely with, have been handling that. So that's interesting.
Finally, I want to let you go. What is your role? What is your role in Umkho AI?
So anytime I introduce my role in Umkho AI, I need to take us back to, like I shared, statistics. Less than 1% of the research of artificial intelligence is dedicated to the African context. What does that mean when we are war-torn? What does that mean for any of the progressions we hope to make, whether it's AI 4, AI 5, Gen AI, and I'm throwing around all these buzzwords. But the honest question and the answer to the question I always have is, what do you know about AI? What do you think about AI? What does AI mean for all of us? And with 1% of research, the true answer is I do not know, which is why I'm engaged in finding the data necessary, which is why we have an awesome division with our Chief Sciences Officer and our data analytics, where we basically, and I think the projection for at least my department in the next year is to go through and sift through databases from media to institutions to even the government in itself. Secondly, we're going to be looking into a lot of the funding as well, because we need the money machine to keep that oiled and going as well. But lastly, just also an academic journal is something I'm super excited about and I'm working on. And I think from my own professional pursuits as, a bioscientist by profession and currently pursuing my biomedical pursuits, thank you, I think is going to be quite vital and for the first time ever tell the story of AI in Africa.
So
it's going to be interesting.
I love it. I love your journey. I'm a fan of the works that you guys do. I'm a fan of your brand, your founder. I'm a friend of all of the other guys, and I hope I make it to Germany to see what you guys are doing as well.
We're hoping to bring the data center to the site, so stay tuned for that. That's really exciting things that we're up to. So that's a little bit about Umkho AI and just the scope that we are living in right now as we deliver.
Right. Dineo, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy woman and you gotta do a lot of things.
Dash.
Yeah. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. That was Dineo from Umkho.